Hello. There are misconceptions about what black music should be, and also black heritage when it comes to culture. And please don't tell me that you have to include somebody twerking. I strongly dislike when some people, black or otherwise, open their mouth to say that twerking is black culture. To me, that's such a big insult to dance for a start. And also to black culture as it is, as a whole. I do Arabic dance, I do samba, and I do other Latin dances. And I've always done since I was a child. I do African dance, West African dance, and I've done folkloric French Caribbean dances. All these are black dances. There is no twerking involved. Wherever twerking came from, it isn't something I'd like to call black culture. One, is not culture. It's sexual activity with clothes on. And I'm sure if you Google twerking, you find loads of YouTube videos and you see what I mean. It's just pure and simple disgraceful, disgusting. And I say that somebody who likes to dance and use Turk's hip movements in Arabic dance or in samba or in folkloric Caribbean dance and African dance. You have a lot of hip circles, small and wide hip circles. But I don't like the idea of just thrusting my pelvis into a camera or into somebody's junk. That's just the wrong way of affirming blackness. Why is black culture these days restricted to rap, restricted to this twerking business? Why is that more black culture than gospel or jazz or samba or Willie Colon? Why is that more black culture than bebop? Because that came from Negro spiritual, that came from jazz. Why is that more black culture than James Brown? James Brown, who did loads of sexy stuff on stage, but you didn't see him twerking, bending over and twerking like a lot of females do these days on TV. If you type bell hooks rap on YouTube, you'll see a series of videos about this. She has a very spot on analysis about this phenomenon and how probably because of historical parameters, black women have found throughout the ages that they ought to value themselves in that way, managing their reputation as the girls who could do what the good white girls wouldn't do. And it's actually damaged their reputation. They're getting paid and they're getting popular for being in the mainstream media in that way. And people love it. Of course they love it. Sex sells. But it's a very sad way to spread the word about black is beautiful. You know, I mean, I'm all for racial equalities, but this is not the way to do it. And then you blame it on the blacks, because the blacks have spread this and that. It's a bit silly, the whole thing. I think it needs to stop. I don't know how far it's going to go after that. My other beef is with people who open their mouth to distillate whatever is coming through their brain, declaring that classical music, opera, you name it, concertos, Handel, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, it's all white music. You black, you're self-respecting black, why are you listening to it? Well, because it's beautiful music, by the way, and it doesn't have a stamp on it. You know, I appreciate the beautiful British countryside. I don't need to be white to appreciate it. Why can't I appreciate something that was composed beautifully by one composer? If the guy was Chinese, would I need to be Chinese to listen to it and to enjoy it, to perform to it, to choreograph to it? No, it's universal, it's powerful, it's bigger than life. It's beautiful music, accessible to anybody. And by the way, I like to sing it. Anybody's got beef with that, they got to be super ignorant. There are other issues I'd like to raise about opera in masses. For instance, the presence of Latin beats and Afro-Caribbean beats as composed by those geniuses, those beautiful luminaries, those visionaries who actually painted just about everything that the human brain could comprehend and assess within their operas. You have people like Mozart who actually, without knowing what a Brazilian beat was, the Brazilian beat I'm depicting didn't exist at the time, but the guy painted it in his solemn masses, solemn vespers, the magic flute, Oasis und Osiris. I'm currently looking at it more closely because I have discerned a few Latin beats as interwoven in the orchestral and vocal parts. And even though you've got these long notes, magnificently solemn and heavy notes from the bass lead, you have this rhythm underneath. I think they call it a swan effect, but it's got this tension underneath the main rhythm, and it's described in the orchestra, and it's a question of equations. I'm sure of it, I have to look at it, but you have some Wilfrido Vargas stuff going on there, and it's Cuban or Brazilian, but either way it's not exactly what you had in the courts at the time, in European courts. It's not typical, and Mozart is very good at that. It did it with the Solemn Vespers, did it with the Queen of the Nights, first aria, Und zittre nicht, because there are some Zouk sequences in there, my friend, and Zouk was born 1980s in the French West Indies. And it's all already foreseen as a possible combination by Mozart. I am surprised that more people don't actually identify. I mean, more children should love this. When I was a teenager, by the way, I didn't really like opera, but there are so many things to discover, and it's a shame that it's not more widespread. If an alien came around and looked at what humans did for arts, for performing arts, the main thing that would be in the media right now would be that, just sex. What did you think? What did you make of our civilization? You're not writing, you're not creating anything, you're not even communicating with each other. And what could you say to that visitor on planet Earth? You couldn't say anything, because that's what's represented by the arts mainly. It's very sad. It's reducing mankind to that structure of almost unicellular sort of creature. And you have so much capacity. The brain can do amazing things. We don't use our brain fully. We use 10%. We can do so much more, so much more. And what are we doing? We're just showing people who copulate, and then women who half naked, and that's all we're interested in, apparently. And that I find it very wrong. Now, please don't blame it on the blacks, and please don't call it culture, because it isn't culture, and it isn't black culture. It's just a mess. Sorry. Yeah. Anybody wants to comment, please do so. See you later, guys.